In this exercise, we're going to be talking about manipulating views. I'm not talking about editing geometry or doing anything like that. What I'm talking about is moving, aligning, and editing the view itself. So let's get started. For the most part, the base view or a free view can go anywhere it wants to go. It can go off the page, it can go anywhere on the page. All the projected views are automatically aligned to the base view, along with the auxiliary views. But, this is really ugly up here and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So what I can do is I can take and break the alignment to the base view. If I come up here and I say break alignment, it will give me the ability to move this around. And there's actually a section line here, or an alignment line, I guess you'd call it. And for whatever reason, it doesn't show up. And I'm not sure if this is a glitch in 2013 or if this is a glitch in my hardware, but it is there. And what I end up doing is I just know where I started that view from. Once I select it, it becomes visible. So this may be a little bit of a bug in 2013 that you need to watch out for. Just know that it is there if you break your auxiliary view and you just go grab it and move it wherever you need it to go and it'll show up then. I can move this view around anywhere on this sheet. And I determine, there's just not enough room on this sheet. So I can right click and say new sheet and expand out my views here and find that auxiliary view and drag it to sheet 2. So now there's plenty of room on sheet 2. And so sheet 1, I now have room. I also have the ability to do alignments with things like this detail view, for example. So what I could say is I want to align this horizontally with this. So now that view is going to be perfectly aligned forever and ever if I move it up and down to this right here. It doesn't matter what size it is, it's going to align it so that it's always aligned to this view. I can do the same with the isometric views and any other, section or call out or whatever I want to do. Section view by default, if I cut a section on something and drop it in there, section view is locked in as well. Once again, I can break the alignment to that and move it wherever I need to move it. Move it over to my other sheet. So my sheet here can be all section and align views or auxiliary views. And then I can come in here and I can right click on this. Now I've also made sure that my menu is the full menu now on the expanded view. Sometimes I like the mini toolbars here that you can shorten this down. But if you come over here to tools, customize, you have the overflow menu options. Some things are easier to find in the full menu, so I do turn this on. If I right click on this, I can go to rotate, and I can actually rotate this view so that it's viewable. I can choose how I want to rotate it. So I'm going to say I want to pick an edge, and I want to pick an edge to be horizontal. And it's going to tell it how it's going to rotate it around. I want it to rotate this way, and it's going to rotate either the view or the camera. So let's rotate the view. So now you can see that I rotated that auxiliary view around to where it's readable. I can do the same thing with this section view. And say, okay, I want to rotate this. So I right click on it, go to rotate. And you notice this line's already horizontal. If I click on the horizontal line, tell it to be horizontal, it'll rotate it 180 degrees. So now it's rotated this around so I can see it in a reasonable fashion there. Once again, the callouts move with the view. You can move them individually, if it's moved away from it too far or something like that. But we can move this around. We can now come in here and tell it we want to align this. Let's do vertical. So align this one to this one vertically. So now they're locked together. One moves, they both move. Now you will notice that I can't move the top one horizontally. It's because it's locked to this one. This one is not really locked to that. This is kind of the child to this parent. So if I want to move this left and right, I have to grab the parent, not the child. So you can see how easy it is to move those around. If I want to edit a view, I double click on it and I can come in and tell it to get its information from the parent. That's what that means. Go back to the parent for your information. Or I can uncheck that and tell it I want to override it. I come back over here to sheet 1. If I want to break a link that I've added, I added the alignment on this. I can say break alignment. So now I can move this around willy-nilly wherever I want to move it again. So you can see how easy it is to move these views around. We can move them around any way we want. Then the last one we have is in position. So if I come up here and I say I want to lock this in position to this, what that does is it locks them at an angle, basically. Doesn't lock them in the X and Y, it locks them at this set angle so that this is always just a hair below this one. If I break my alignment again there, I can realign them, I can do it again. Click in position to this one. So now they're always going to be at that angle to one another. So this is always the big brother to this one. Break it one more time here. Probably make a little bit more sense if you wanted this detail view, for example. We could always want this to be in the upper right hand corner. So I can say in position, lock this to this. So it's always going to be at that angle away from it. So you get a lot of alignment options in there. You can get to them through the modify toolbar up here, or you can right click on it and go to alignment. You can also rotate through right clicking and rotate your view as necessary. And then you can go in and you can edit them by double clicking on it. Some of your options you will get, some of your options you won't get when you edit it. Most of them you will. You'll notice a lot of this is grayed out because those are either assembly or weldment or options that don't apply to this part. And so it'll only give you the options to either create or edit based on what type of part it is. So it's smart enough to understand that, hey, you're going to edit a weldment, then you get the weldment options, or it's not a weldment, so then you don't need the weldment options. So play with this some, see what you can do, see how much fun you can have trying to rearrange and edit and move around some views. Create a new sheet, right click in the white area. It's very important if you want to create a new sheet, you right click down here, or you come up here in your toolbar and say new sheet. The reason it's so important is if you are in here and you right click, you're never going to get new sheet. So you have to come down here in kind of this blank area to create the new sheets. So play with it, see what you can do, have some fun with it, and move on to the next exercise.